Good morning, guys. Why did I say good morning? Oh my god, so bad at this. So bad at this. Anyways, thank you for coming to my channel, and in this video I'll show you how I make the Everlasting Rose face scrub, the exact kind that I sell in my shop. Yeah, pretty cool, right? So this face scrub is actually a type of wet scrub, if you didn't know already, and it's made with fine grains, so it is really nice and smooth and gentle to the skin while still giving that nice scrubbing feel. So let's get to it. So first off, before I start making any product, I'll always make sure that the entire workspace and utensils are clean and sterilized. So here I'm just using this Clorox multi-surface cleaner for the surface. Oh my god, what's wrong with me today? Okay, so it's a Clorox multi-surface cleaner, and I use this for the surfaces. And then I take a 70% rubbing alcohol, and I use this to spray and sterilize all of my equipment and utensils and literally anything that's gonna touch the product. So just spray generously, and I wipe it off with a clean microfiber cloth because I don't want it to be wet when we go to use it. And now we start. So since this is a sugar and salt scrub and I wanted to have that fine and smooth texture, I choose to use a powdered sugar, and this will be the ingredient that's going to contribute to the fine and smooth texture of the entire scrub. And oh yeah, a little disclosure, I will not share the exact formulation for the products that I make and sell for obvious reasons, obviously. But I'll let you know the ingredients that I use and that this is gonna be a pretty big batch. I just happened to be restocking the products for a distributor at the time, and then I decided to just set up the camera and record the whole process for you because, you know, why not? So this powdered sugar is quite lumpy, as you can see here, and believe me when I tell you it's gonna be a pain in the ass if you do not sift it beforehand. So I have this large sift, and I always make sure that I run the powdered sugar through this sift every single time when I make this product. You're gonna thank yourself for this tedious step when you try to make this. Next comes the star ingredient for this scrub, kinda like my secret ingredient too. It's the magnesium sulfate, also known as Epsom salt. I love to include Epsom salt in all of my scrubs because it just takes them to a whole other level. Epsom salt is great at healing the human skin while relaxing your muscles. But unfortunately, Epsom salt is often very coarse in texture, as you can see here in this video, so I've decided to grind them up to powder. And once I've grinded them, they're nice and super fine and powdery, and they also dissolve a lot easier when in contact with the water, and this is actually a plus point because the easier it dissolves, the easier your skin can benefit from it. Next comes the pink Himalayan salt, and you can use any kind of salt too actually. I just chose this because it adds that natural pink color for my rose themed face scrub. I do not add any coloring to my product, so I really gotta take advantage of whatever nature's provided. And for pink, this is the solution. Pink Himalayan salt also contains over 80 minerals and trace elements compared to regular salt. Notice how I didn't even grind this? That's because it's already fine, although not powdery, and I intend to use this as the main exfoliating agent, and I purposely want the salt to have a bit of body because first, salt takes longer time to dissolve in water compared to sugar and Epsom salt, and therefore it's gonna linger on the skin when you're scrubbing. And second, it's gonna be the key element that helps exfoliate your skin. So I just run this through the sieve to break up the lumps, and that's it. Now you want to mix the powders really well to prepare it for the next step. Okay, so now we get to the liquid phase of the scrub. This is not your ordinary homemade face scrub recipe, so prepare to be amazed. First prepare a beaker, and then this is polysorbate 80. It's a natural plant-based emulsifier, and this is the ingredient that's gonna bind the oil and water together. And to that, I'm gonna add some olive oil. this will offer some beautiful moisturizing properties, and you need this especially when you're scrubbing your skin. And since I avoid using synthetic ingredients, which includes fragrances, I use pure essential oils instead. And this one is Rose Geranium Essential Oil. It's one of my favorites. I love the scent. And now we mix. I just love looking at how the different phases just blend in, and you want to make sure that you blend it very thoroughly before you proceed to the next step. Okay guys, pay attention. Here's where the magic happens. Ta-da! See how the solution instantly changes color when I added the distilled water? Yes, this is just distilled water. That's because the polysorbate 80 is doing its job in emulsifying the oils and water. This will also make the solution thicker. Can you see? Wait, hold on, let me mix it. There you go. How cool is that? This happens within seconds. It's already thickening. And it's gonna get really thick, and it's pretty hard to mix too. Okay, now the only synthetic ingredient I'm actually gonna add, and I can't really skip this, is the preservative. I'm using Liquid Dermo Plus. You can actually Google up about it. It's a broad spectrum preservative, and it's very stable at various pH levels. You need a preservative, especially when you use such a higher concentration of natural based ingredients in your products. Better safe than sorry, guys. So here's how I incorporate the liquid phase into the dry phase. Since the liquid phase is pretty thick by now, and it's also paste-like, as you can see, I can't just mix it in. I tried it and hated it. It took forever to mix. So I came up with this technique, and it's been working wonders every single time. So I simply make a hole at the center, yes, like making a pasta, and then I drop the paste into the hole, like such, and slowly fold in the powder into the paste. What happens then is the powder will just melt itself into the paste. I'm gonna fast forward this part and not skip it so that you get to see how it comes together. This part is so cool. But you do need to put a little elbow grease into this though. I hate this part, it's so tiring. But I guess you could also use a mixer if you want to. I just chose to do it this way. Alright, so now it's coming together beautifully. And then we'll proceed to the decoration part, and since this is a rose face scrub, obviously I'm gonna put some rose petals. This is some pure dried rose petals, and this one is food grade. It's free from preservatives and pesticides, and I manually plucked the petals from the whole bud. You can just dump the flowers whole if you want to, but I just prefer having just the petals. And I love this part. I always IG story this because it's so cool. And now we're ready to pack them. So these are the jars that I use for my brand. It fits about 150 grams of the product. And first things first, you have to sterilize everything. And here's my trusty microfiber cloth again to wipe off the excess water. Because 70% alcohol is still 30% water. So you want to get rid of that. Make sure it's nice and clean when you go to use it. And then I take a weighing scale and scoop out a bit of the product. And I just drop it in and repeat the steps until I reach the desired weight, which is 150 grams. Sometimes I do put a little extra, as long as it's not below 150 grams. And this is the cool part about this jar though, it comes with a stopper, so it keeps the product nice and fresh. And we proceed to labeling. This is the label that I use for this product. And I also add a transparent label. This one has more details and information on the product, the benefits, and the full list of ingredients. And this is a crucial part. I need to stamp the expiry date. So for this product, I've done some experiments and I realized that it actually lasts for about a year, maybe more with proper storage. So just gonna stamp the expiry date. This is crucial because oftentimes customer will ask you how long this product can last, especially when they know that it's made with natural ingredients. And we're done, guys. This is the finished product. I know it looks a little stiff right now, but trust the process, guys. Like after a few days, it's just gonna melt beautifully. Especially if you take some and then you put it on your skin. The warmth from your skin is just gonna melt those sugars and powders, and what's gonna be left on it is just those beautiful grains of salt, and that is gonna be the exfoliating agent. So this scrub is suitable for all skin types actually, and this is the scrub that I would recommend my customers, especially if they're a first timer and they're not sure what kind of product they're looking for. So this one focuses on hydration and balancing the skin tone. Look at how smooth the texture is. Right now, I bet you can barely see the grains yet, but let me introduce some water after this and then show you how it's gonna look like. You're supposed to use this on a wet skin, by the way. I'm just trying to demonstrate the texture to you. That's why I didn't wet my hand beforehand. Okay, so anyways, now you can see the fine texture and the smooth grains of salt. Can you see? And the rose petals haven't softened yet, guys, so don't worry about that. They're gonna soften after a few days. You can barely feel it on your skin. And yeah, once you've rinsed it off, it's nice and smooth. It's not greasy at all because we've already put the emulsifier just now. So yeah, if you give this a try, do tag me, and don't forget to like and subscribe and follow our Instagram handle. Okay, I'm gonna tag everything down below, so yeah. Thank you so much. See you in my next video. Bye!